tuned into The Truth with G. Inspire, educate, and uplift. If you can't handle the truth, this ain't the show for you. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So sit back, relax, and buckle up and enjoy this ride.
The Truth with G. The Truth with G. The Truth with G. All right. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to The Truth with G on WPMM Internet Radio. I am your boy, Gerald Graham, also known as G. Once again, we are back to talk about the issues that matter to you and your community. Hope all is well with everyone. Hope all is well. Today is Monday, start of your week. Hope that you guys are coming off a good weekend. Hope you had a good, safe weekend, a responsible weekend. Nobody went to jail for public intoxication or anything of that nature, drunk driving. Hope you had a safe weekend. But we're back on the grind, back at Monday. And if your Monday was like mine, it was a little rough, but hopefully it'll smooth out throughout the week. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in once again right here on The Truth with G on WPMM Internet Radio. Thank you to my listening audience. I appreciate you guys for joining in. I have some very, very loyal listeners that listen to the show, but I want to welcome everyone in. I do thank you for tuning in to the show. But I have some ride or dies, and this show is for you guys. So it's for you, about you, and of you. And without you, I would not be here. So I thank you for tuning in. We're here every Monday, Thursday, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time is when we are on. We are WPMM Online Radio. We're under Changing Horizon Media Group, LLC is what we're under. We're WPMM. We play the best in R&B, jazz, talk, neo, soul, independent hip-hop, and old school music. You can listen to WPMM from the website at WPMMradio.com. You can go to TuneIn or iTunes. Also, you can tell Alexa to play WPMM. She will oblige as well. Also, you can download the app. It's a free app. You can go to the Google Store, the Apple Store, and download the app. It's free, WPMM Radio. Also, you can put it on any mobile device, phone, tablet, computer. The cars nowadays, you can download the app on your vehicles with the new technology as well. Also, we are streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, so you can catch the show any of those areas. If you have someone who don't know how to navigate the web, just send them the text message. Just put WPMMradio.com in the text message. All they have to do is click on it, hit play, and they can listen to the show as well. Looks like we have Miss Deborah Rivers on. Good to see you. That's my ride or die there right there. Mr. Monroe, what's going on? Mr. Walter, what's up with you, Mr. Walter? If you're on, let me know you're on. You can drop your comments. If you're on Facebook, you can drop your comments into the comment section on Facebook. We're not taking phone calls tonight, so if you do want to chime in on the conversation, please do drop your comments in. Got an interesting show tonight. I was going to start. Well, let me finish taking care of the particulars. The views and opinions expressed by individual radio hosts and guests are of their own and does not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of WPMM Radio. WPMM Radio does not intend to align with any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. All right. And it's saying that if you try to sue WPMM, can't sue them. You have to sue me for my words, but you can't sue me because I'm telling the truth. And you can't sue me for the truth. If you do sue me and win, I keep telling y'all every Monday and Thursday, 17 cents sits on my nightstand in a jelly jar, and you can have it. You can have it, and you can have the jar, because that's all you're gonna get if you try to sue me. So, but today's show, we're gonna I'm gonna try to hit at least 4 topics today, but I don't know if I'm gonna get through all of them. The first topic I was going to start out the show with was the situation with Trump. However, we had some new developments in the NCAA tournament where little systemic racism has reared its ugly head within the NCAA women's basketball tournament. We'll talk about that as well. We will talk about the indictment of the Orange Idiot that will take place. He has been indicted. He'll make his first court appearance on tomorrow. We'll talk about that. Also, we will talk about the gun laws gun laws in the state of Florida are changing. If you don't know, I'm gonna let you know exactly what's going on with the gun laws in Florida. We need to be up to date on that information because it's going to affect all of us in some type of way. Well, it can be positive or negative. So we want to make sure you have all the details of it. We'll talk about that. Also, we have a situation in the I guess it would be the Midwest states where tornadic action is still going on. People in Arkansas, Mississippi, that area has lost a lot. The homes has been destroyed, businesses have been destroyed, lives have been lost in the tornadoes there in Arkansas, Mississippi, up in that area. So definitely want to send our prayers and with those people that are in line of those storms. Based on what I saw here earlier, looks like another round of storms is going through that area. Um, and that's not a good thing. Not a good thing. Tornadoes are things you can't prepare for. And there are things, when you do a hurricane, a hurricane come, we're in Pensacola, Florida. So in Florida, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, along the Gulf Coast, we know how to prepare for hurricanes, but you cannot necessarily prepare for a tornado other than if you have a bunker, if you will, a basement to where you can go into your basement and shelter there. But other than that, only thing you can do is you probably have, minutes warning if a tornado is coming your direction. And all you can do is hunker down and pray and hope for the best. But condolences goes out to all the family who have lost loved ones in that situation with the tornadoes. My heart goes out to those who have suffered property damage, property loss. People are without homes right now, looking for shelter. Hopefully everyone will be able to find shelter and whatnot. So sad situation up there, but hopefully these storms will end soon. And hopefully those people will recover. So let's go to the NCAA women's basketball tournament. And this wasn't even on the agenda for the show today. But the events that has taken place since the game on yesterday. By the way, there was the LSU Tigers and the Iowa Hawkeyes that played in the women's NCAA finals. The LSU Tigers won the title. I think they won by like 15 points or something. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 15 points. I'm going off the top of my head on this one. But the LSU Tigers, they played a good game. They played solid basketball. I did not see all of the game, so don't ask me about specifics. But apparently, without fail, we have a situation that has come out of that game that just proves that systemic racism is alive and well. So I'm talking about the tournament, but at the same time, I'm talking about the systemic racism that goes along with even college basketball, women's college basketball. And here's the deal, and I want to hear from you guys on this situation. What do you think about it? And what took place is Angel Reese. Angel Reese is apparently the star player on the LSU Tigers women basketball team. She had a stellar season, from my understand. Don't ask me to give you all her stats, but she had a stellar season. The LSU Tigers, they lost 2 games on the season and went on to win the championship. But Angel Reese is the player that is being attacked at this point in time, particularly by some members of the media, by these right-wing, we're going to call them assholes today. She's been attacked because of gestures that she made during the game toward the competition, or in the spirit of competition, if you will. As far as Iowa, Caitlin Clark is the player for Iowa that is the standout for the team of Iowa. Actually, she is a standout. She's probably being categorized as one of the best players in college basketball this year. My understanding that she's in the top 3 ranking best basketball players. I've heard people refer to Caitlin Clark as I think Stephen A. called her or compared her to Steph Curry in regards to her shooting and her ball handling skills. If you're being compared to Steph Curry, that's pretty good company to be in. So Caitlin, I'll be honest with you. Other than the finals, I did watch a little bit of. I think it was with the Elite Eight. I watched a little bit of that game, and no doubt, Miss Caitlin can shoot. No doubt, she's a ball player. No doubt at all. However, Miss Caitlin has adopted this gesture to where she does this thing, and I don't watch the wrestling, but apparently John Cena of the WWE or one of these wrestling organizations does this "you can't see me" thing, where he takes his hand and do this type of thing right here in front of his face. If you're on Facebook, you can see what I'm doing. If you listen on the website, you can't see. But so last night's game, when the LSU Tigers were up 14, 15 points, apparently Miss Angel Reese, again, standout ball player for LSU, did the John Cena thing toward Caitlin, which Caitlin has done that as well. And then at one point, because Caitlin had drew a ring on her finger. She had drew a ring in anticipation of it becoming a real ring after they won the championship. So she drew a ring on her finger, and she put her hand in front of her face, and she pointed at the ring at one point in the direction of the Iowa players. Now, you would think that you would just call this in the spirit of competition, being confident, being bold, being a little brash about your skills and the fact that you're winning the ball game and enjoying the events of the day. But however, we have these right wing butt wipes, these right wing assholes that want to attack Miss Angel Reese because of what she did with the John Cena waving her hands in her face, you can't see me thing, and pointing at the ring. So she has been called classless. She has been called ghetto. She's been called hood. She's been attacked from the assholes on the right. Well, I'm not even going to say on the right because it's not really a political thing. It's a racism thing. It's a systemic racism thing. Regardless of party, she was attacked. And called a thug, and all kind of things been going. The web internet has been going wild on this situation. But here's the thing: Miss Angel Reese is a young lady. She's a black female ball player. She's black. Caitlin Clark of Iowa is white. And I watched Iowa play in the Elite Eight, and I remember seeing something distinctive in regards to the Iowa basketball team. And it was by accident, not that I was looking for it. It was strictly by accident that I noticed this. I seen them in the huddle. It was during a timeout or whatever, and I seen in the huddle, and I'm looking at the players in the huddle, and I see one black person in the huddle as far as teammates. So when I saw that, I'm like, wow, we have a whole basketball team and only one black female is on this team. And then I had to look at it and, we're in the state of Iowa. They're in Iowa. Not making a racist statement or anything, but I don't know of a lot of black people that are in Iowa. I really don't. They could be. But as far as I've seen, I've never met a black person from Iowa. But anyway, Caitlin, the ball player at Iowa, had done the same exact things to her opponent. The same John Cena wave in your hand in front of her face. The same exact gesture. She has mimicked the same type of cockiness or and nothing wrong with being cocky as long as you're not being, outlandish or outrageous or anything. She has exhibited the same amount of cockiness, the same amount of confidence that Miss Reese has of LSU. But when Miss Caitlin did it, when she did the same thing that Angel Reese did, nobody said a word. She was called an angel. She was called, a competitor. We're talking about Miss Caitlin at this point. She was called a competitor. She was called, she's an angel. She's a best ball player. She's raised by a good family. This, that, and other. That's what they talked about when Caitlin did it. Mr. Salter has joined us on Facebook. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the situation in NCAA women's basketball tournament where racism and has reared its ugly head. We have racism and we have hypocrisy. But anyway, Caitlin did the same thing that Angel Reese did to other competitors. Matter of fact, she showed a amount of cockiness in the game in the Elite Eight, where the person she's supposed to be playing man defense. She left the person that she was guarding beyond the 3-point line, and she dropped down and doubled down. And you could see her making the gesture to the person with the ball on the opposite team, just kind of waved her off like, basically you ain't shit type of deal, and waved her off and didn't even go out there to cover her. But again, she did the John Cena thing with the hands in front of her face to the opponent. Nobody said a word other than calling her a competitor, a great ball player, a good person, given all the positive accolades. But as soon as Angel Reese do it, she is dragged through the mud, and she's called all types of negative names. And this is where systemic racism plays a role in everyday life. No matter what is going on, no matter what we're doing, where we go, systemic racism is live and well. Hypocrisy is live and it's live and well. For instance, some of the things that I'm saying on this show today, just to point out the racism that we undergo. And I'm in the state of Florida, so I'm called woke. I'm woke. And according to Governor Dumbass DeSantis, Florida is where woke comes to die. In other words, Florida is where black people come to die. Because anytime you hear the word woke in the political forum, they're talking about black people. So I hadn't had the opportunity to switch over to Fox News and to see exactly what they are saying about this situation. I'm kind of curious to know what they're saying about it, because I can see the hate being spewed coming out of the right wing propaganda media that's called Fox News, if you will. But this is the type thing that we have to deal with on a daily basis, and regardless of where we are, where we go, who we deal with, there's systemic racism that applies to everyday life. And that term woke came from just being aware of your environment, being aware of your surroundings in regards to how your skin color affects your everyday life, how your ethnicity affects your everyday life when it comes to racism. So, and again, we're in the state of Florida. Everything that's being done, every piece of legislation that's going through, everything is anti-woke. In other words, anti-black. Dumbass DeSantis is doing everything in his power to make Florida a white nation, a white state. Not a red state, but a white state. He want to make sure that there's no black people in power, in positions of power. He's doing that by redistricting and things, all kind of things. Legislation being passed, anti-woke legislation being passed. Even with the LGBTQ community, the bills are being passed to suppress them as well. But we're talking about the NCAA tournament. We're talking about the NCAA tournament. That's what we're talking about. So instead of LSU being able to enjoy winning a national championship, and this is their first national championship. Mr. Salter, we could have said Miss Clark looks like Bruce Jenner, but took the high road. Okay, Mr. Salter. But instead of LSU being able, and we know LSU ball club is majority people that look like me. So that's why the real hate come in. Iowa was full of what people would categorize as golden children. They were the golden child, if you will, of basketball because it was a team full of Caucasian females. Again, I seen one black person on that team. So the I can see, and I'm speculating at this point. I can see where media, especially media and right wing races, would have wanted Iowa to win the championship because it was the golden children. LSU was full of people that looked like me. So therefore, instead of being able to celebrate a wonderful win at a hard-fought ball game against a quality team, they are dealing with the fact that Angel Reese did something that somebody on the Iowa team did, but Angel Reese has been dragged through the mud for doing the same thing that the Golden Child did. And we know that's a matter of the pigmentation in her DNA and the color of her skin. Yeah, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep my throat wet. But shout out goes out to the LSU Tigers for winning the the NCAA. I'm about to say the NAACP, but winning the NCAA basketball tournament. Shout out to that team, to that coach, all the young ladies who fought hard. I'm even going to send kudos out to the Iowa because it wasn't the Iowa players that created this situation. It was the people that were watching, the fans that were watching, the haters, if you will. They created it. The Iowa basketball team went out there and played their hearts out, and unfortunately, they came up short in this situation, and LSU came out victorious. So I watched quite a bit of the women's basketball tournament this year. I actually thought that South Carolina was going to end up in the finals, but they fell short. They fell short to Iowa, and in that game, Caitlin Clark, she lit it up. She was shooting them threes like it wasn't nothing, and they just came up short. But anyway, but that's just an example of how racism and systemic racism plays a role in our everyday lives, whether we understand that or not. That's why when people tell you to stay woke, they really mean stay woke. When I tell you to stay woke, I really mean stay woke, because if you're not aware of your surroundings and what's going on around you, you can easily be taken advantage of. You can easily be swindled. The word bamboozled, as Malcolm X used, because if you're not aware of what's going on with the racial connotations of every aspect of life, you can easily get lost in the shuffle and stay behind the eight ball, if you will. And the more that we are aware of our surroundings, the better off that we are. So stay woke, people. Stay woke. Mr. Salter says, even with Iowa and South Carolina, there was some negative things said towards South Carolina. And I promise you, I didn't, after the South Carolina game, I did not. Only thing that I saw was a little bit of the press conference with South Carolina's coach, but I didn't see much of it, and I was busy the weekend, so where I did not see a lot of the coverage over the weekend. But yeah, I can imagine, because South Carolina also is a team where is predominantly black players on that team. But systemic racism showed its head in the NCAA tournament, and it's hypocrisy at the highest level, because Miss Angel Reese, who's a stellar ball player, a standout ball player, a competitor, with all the confidence in the world, is being dragged through the mud because she did the same thing her white competitor did, and the white competitor was praised for her role, while Miss Angel Reese is being dragged through the mud. So, if you're just joining us, we're talking about, that was the first topic. I had to get that off the chest because that was irritating me, and it wasn't even part of the show today. We're supposed to be, we're the topics that we're trying to cover with the NCAA tournament, which we have Trump indicted and the Florida gun laws. We're going to get to those two as well. And school shootings, I was going to talk about those, but I may have to say that until next week. But anyway, in the news, we know the orange idiot. If you're not aware, let's bag up, because everybody may not be aware. The orange idiot, I refer, that's what I call him. You may refer to him as Donald Trump, but the orange idiot was indicted. He was indicted a couple weeks ago. Not a couple weeks ago, last week, matter of fact. He was indicted. And he on Tuesday of last week. And initially, he was supposed to make his first appearance in New York court on Friday. Thursday, I believe it was. It's supposed to have been on Thursday. However, with the logistics has to be worked out. And when I say about the logistics, it's because he is a ex-president. The ex-president travels with Secret Service. He will have Secret Service coverage for a number of years after he leaves office. So anytime he moves, it has to be orchestrated. It has to be planned out. So with the amount of time, even though the courts there in New York wanted him to show up on Thursday, the logistic couldn't be worked out to where the Secret Service, all the NYPD, everybody's on alert as far as making sure that everything runs smoothly in regards to security. So they gave him a court date on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. But he was indicted. He was indicted on 30 plus counts, which we don't know what those counts are. But it has to do with fraud. It has to do with it could be campaign violation, campaign funds violation. There's a lot of things that can be thrown in there. It could be conspiracy, but we don't know. We won't know until that indictment is unsealed. Hopefully that indictment will be unsealed and made public tomorrow, where we can actually read the charges. But he's going to make appearance in the court. I think is at 2:30 tomorrow. So once he makes his appearance, he'll be booked. I don't know why they're not treating him like everybody else. Anybody else that's arrested is put in handcuffs and they're going through the procedures. But they're saying that they're not going to put handcuffs on this man. What makes them different from me? I don't know. Just because you had a title of president or ex-president, that don't mean that you are above the law. So I don't think he should be treated any differently than anybody else. But anyway, he'll be fingerprinted. He'll be his mugshot will be taken. He'll be booked under the terms of the indictment in regards to the charges. He will go in front of a magistrate, a judge, and the judge will read the charges. If his lawyers choose, or he would choose for the judge to read the counts out loud. Plus, again, it's 30 plus counts. He'll be given an opportunity to plead to the charges. Either he himself can say guilty or not guilty, or his representation, his lawyers can say guilty or not guilty. We all know he's guilty, but obviously he's going to plead not guilty. After he is arraigned, he is anticipated that he'll be released on his own recognizance, which in other words, he'll be able to sign himself out. There's reporting that there won't be a bail in this situation, which I don't understand why. If it was me, they would give me a bail. But privilege. And then he'll be released to go back. And my understanding is that he'll leave the courtroom and he's going back to Mar-a-Lago, back to Florida, Fort Lauderdale. And then he's going to hold a press conference at Mar-a-Lago tomorrow evening sometime. Also, Alvin Bragg, who is the prosecutor, the DA there in Manhattan, he has also said that he will be holding a press conference after the hearing. To discuss. I guess he's going to put the information out because he couldn't say anything about the charges because, again, the charges were sealed, so it would not have been his place to say anything prior to those charges being made public. So charges being made public, he will speak after that to explain. I'm assuming he's going to explain the process and why the orange idiot is being charged as he is being charged. And the charge centers around a hush money payment that was made prior to the 2016 election. It was made to a individual named Stormy. She goes by the name Stormy Daniels. That is her entertainment name, if you will. As far as my understanding, is her entertainment name. She's a porn star. I don't know if she's former or still active in that particular field. But these payments was made to her to allegedly keep her quiet from speaking about the relationship between her and the orange idiot prior to the election. These funds were allegedly come from campaign funds, and allegedly, if those funds were used in the payment of a solicitation to keep people quiet. One, you can't use campaign funds. Two, you're conspiring. So conspiracy is on the table, if you will. So it's going to be more information come out when these charges come out tomorrow, when the indictment is unsealed and read and put out to the public. Miss Saber has joined. How you doing, Miss Saber? I appreciate you. I hope you and Mr. Oscar are doing well. Good to see you on this evening as well. But anyway, that's what's going on. The whole city of New York has been, they're pretty much going on lockdown as far as in the city near the courthouse and Trump Tower. Things are going to be on lockdown. If you're trying to move around down there in New York on tomorrow, it's going to be pretty hectic. Even though I haven't been down in Manhattan, if you will, but I understand it's already congested and it's slow moving in places. But it's even going to be worse tomorrow because of all um, the shenanigans created by the orange idiot, if you will. Um, and here's what's fascinating about this whole thing with Trump being brought on these charges. I've been listening to all his lawyers. I've been listening to all his pundits. I've been listening to all the dumbasses, even his supporters. And here's the thing. Here's what I find interesting. No one is talking about the fact. These are his pundits. These are his lawyers. No one is talking about the fact that he is innocent of the charges. No one is saying he didn't do it. He didn't, he never paid Stormy Daniels, and nobody's talking about the fact, well, he didn't do it. All of these idiots that support this man, they're talking about the fact that the prosecutor, the DA, Mr. Alvin Bragg, they're talking about he shouldn't have brought the charges. They throwing mud and throwing shade on Alvin Bragg for bringing these charges, and he wouldn't have charged somebody else, so why he charged? But nobody's saying that Trump is innocent. They're attacking everybody that has something to do with prosecuting and bringing these charges. They're attacking anybody and everybody that is looking to hold the orange idiot accountable, but nobody is saying that the orange idiot did not commit the crimes that he is allegedly being accused of. And that's the stupidity of the whole thing. You have Lindsey Graham, who, I don't know if you've seen the interview. Everybody runs to Fox News. Everybody runs to Fox News and say their piece. And when I say everybody on the right wing politicians, the Republicans, they all run to Fox News when they are talking about issues going on with Trump. They won't go to other news outlets, but they run right to Fox News. Lindsey Graham came on Fox News over the weekend. It looks like he was highly intoxicated, eyes bloodshot red. He's on there cussing, saying that how unfair it is and this, that, and the other in regards to Trump. And this is the same man that Trump just made look like an idiot. And at one point, before Trump became president, Lindsey Graham was one of those people who called Trump an idiot and a buffoon. He had all negative things to say about him, but once Trump became president, Lindsey Graham started kissing his ass. I truly believe, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying this to be fact, but just my opinion. I honestly believe that Trump has something on Lindsey Graham. Trump has something on Lindsey Graham that Lindsey Graham don't want Trump to tell. And I think he is so emphatic about Trump not being brought up on charges, because I think if Trump get in trouble and get found guilty of something, I think he's going to sing and bring down everybody that he has dirt on. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. But let's get to the facts of the matter. Let's get back to the facts. The Trump supporters are not saying Trump did not do this crime, even though they are, we didn't have a large crowd in front of Trump Tower, in front of Mar-a-Lago after these indictments. Trump did call for protests. He made reference to where there would be death and destruction in regards to if he's brought up on charges. He has incited what I would call riots, protests. So he's even after the indictment, he has he has made comments and committed criminal acts by his words and by his tweets and messages left on his Truth Social platform. He has threatened a DA, a district attorney, a prosecutor. He is saying negative comments about the judge that is assigned to oversee this case, and he's still on line about it. His lawyers are going on these news channels. His lawyers are all over the places, especially this one idiot. I forget his name, but he looks like almost a clone of Michael Cohen. But his own lawyers are going on these TV shows, on these news shows, and they are contradicting what Trump is saying. You know, they're saying stuff. Even Trump say one thing and lawyers say another thing. So they're too stupid to realize that they maybe should shut up and not even talk to the media, because they say one thing, Trump say something else, or they being asked questions that they can't answer, so therefore they either have to lie or they have to dodge the question, which is not going to look good, because I know with the prosecution of this case, everything that their lawyer is going on camera and saying, everything that is being videoed, everything that's being recorded, what these lawyers saying on these news shows, even with Trump, is going to show up as evidence in this trial. So their best bet is just shut up, but they don't have that much sense. But it just still amazes me that even under this situation, we have a ex-president who was twice impeached, now indicted, and will be facing probably 3 to 4 more indictments before this is all over with. Before this summer, he'd probably be indicted 3 to 4 more times on different crimes stemming from the election fraud in Georgia, the January 6th case in D.C. in the DOJ, also the case in Mar-a-Lago with the classified documents. Keep in mind, this same person will be on trial, on a civil trial, and I believe it starts this month. He will be in a civil trial for rape. Statute of limitations has ran out on being processed on a criminal level, because obviously the statute of limitation, I think, is 7 years on that. So obviously that has ran out. But the person that is accusing him of rape was granted by a judge that the case could go forward as far as a civil suit against this man that raped her, that became president and has now been twice impeached and under indictment under another crime and facing indictments, at least 4 more indictments. So we have rape, we have fraud, we have threats, we have insurrections, we have classified documents. We have all this stuff against this person, and we have the dumbass people that still support this foolishness. And that's the scariest part about it. The people that support them, particularly when a lot of those people are in government, particularly when that particular branch of the government is in power. In the House, they have the Supreme Court, where it outweighs 6-3 in regards to the Supreme Court for Republicans to Democrats. So that's the scariest part, the people that support him. And when you have people in power that supporting you, you can get away with crimes. He has gotten away with crimes for all these years, and we know he has been um, committing criminal acts, also, immoral acts, and it's everything, from A to Z. He has been a part of. So hopefully, I'm waiting to see what the charges are going to be in this indictment. I think they are going to be more serious than what people believe, because the prosecution in the investigation of this particular crime, if you will, has not been publicized from the DA's office. They have not been saying anything about what they have. Everybody's been speculating about what did the grand jury hear. We know that Michael Cohen went before the grand jury. He came out of the grand jury, and he tell them what they said. And Michael Cohen, and this is the kicker. This is the kicker. Michael Cohen is his former lawyer. Michael Cohen did prison time for the same crime that Trump is being accused of. So Michael Cohen went to prison, was found guilty, and went to prison for the crimes that Trump is being brought up on tomorrow. And the reason why Michael Cohen went to prison is because he was a co-conspirator. Trump was named as a co-conspirator in these crimes. He was named in the documents as a unindicted co-conspirator. And don't let people fool you. The reason why he was listed as a unindicted co-conspirator is because at that point in time he was president of the United States. Under the current rules and laws under the United States, a sitting president cannot be brought up on charges while they are a sitting president. So you'll hear these right-wing dumbasses say that the prior district attorney chose not to bring up charges. So why is Alvin Bragg bringing charges now? Whatever the case may be, the prior DA could not bring charges because at that point in time, Donald J. Trump, aka the Orange Idiot, was a sitting president. That was the only reason why the Manhattan prosecution office and the DOJ could not bring charges, because he was a sitting president. And in the documents, it states that individual number one, which is Donald J. Trump, was an unindicted so he was an unindicted co-conspirator. He was right along with Michael Cohen, but Michael Cohen was found guilty. He pled guilty and went to prison. Michael Cohen did not undergo a trial, because if he had went to trial, he would have been facing more time in prison. So he did decide to plead guilty to the crimes that he and individual one, which is the Orange Idiot, committed these crimes. So if Michael Cohen did prison time, the Orange Idiot should do prison time for those same crimes, because he's a co-defendant, an unindicted co-defendant at that point in time. Now he's indicted because he's no longer sitting president. So don't let people fool you on that one, because that's what the right wing assholes are trying to push, the fact that the previous DA did not bring charges. There was a reason they couldn't bring charges, because he was a sitting president at that time, and you cannot indict a sitting president. He would have to be impeached and removed. Keep in mind, he was impeached twice, but the Republican led Senate would not vote to remove him. or to convict him of the charges of the impeachment. That's the only reason why he was not removed. So we will see on tomorrow how that goes. Let's move on to the state of Florida here. Let's move on to the state of Florida. Here's what's going on in the state of Florida if you're not aware of it, and it's been done kind of quietly, if you will. So all you people in Florida, listen up. We have been talking about the gun laws. We have been talking about mass shootings, school shooting, kids are dying, this, that, and other, all about these guns. And the whole time while this is going on, even through the last week where the situation in Tennessee, where those kids were shot down in a private school, those 9-year-old babies, 3 9-year-old babies and 3 adults were killed by an assault rifle. Even through all that, the Florida legislation have been in the process of passing a bill to eliminate permits to carry weapons in the state of Florida. It quietly passed through the House. At one point it went through the House and there was some issues, got some hangups or whatever the case may be, but it did pass through the House. It went to the Senate, and again, quietly passed through the Senate. It was on DeSantis' desk a couple of days ago. Normally, DeSantis is out in the open with his stupidity, if you will, but he kind of went under the radar and he signed that bill into law on today. So in the state of Florida, as of July 1st, is you do not need a permit to carry a weapon. It is not open carry. It is not open carry. So you can't, it's not like Texas. It's not like Tennessee, where you can open carry. And what I mean by open carry is your weapon can be visible. You can walk around in Texas and in Tennessee and a few other states and that are open carry states. You can walk around with an AR-15 on your back, strapped across your chest, and that is perfectly legal to do. However, this is not open carry. This is concealed carry. So as of July 1st, you can carry a concealed weapon without obtaining a permit to carry your weapon. However, you cannot leave the state and carry in another state that requires permits. If you go to a state that has open carry, then you're okay. This does not change the laws in regards to convicted felons, because we know convicted felons are not allowed to carry. We know that minors, anybody under the age of 21, is not allowed to carry a handgun. If you're 18, you can use a shotgun, but you cannot have a handgun if you're under the age of 21. The permits will still be available, because if you get a gun permit in the state of Florida, that permit does carry over into other states that require permits to where you can carry in other states. But just be aware, anytime before you travel, if you choose to take a firearm, make sure you're aware of the laws in that state. But it's interesting because just a few short months ago, I was talking to Salzman, which is the representative for this area, the state representative, one of the state representatives for this area, and she was pushing this bill. And I kind of questioned her about the bill, and I think Michelle Salzman, I believe is her first name, kind of questioned her about it as far as why was she pushing this bill, and she's one of those Second Amendment, she's one of those right-wing Second Amendment enthusiasts, if you will. She believes that everybody should be able to carry, but anyway, the law has been signed into law. It's not up for debate at this point in time. It's going to happen. July 1st is the date that it goes into effect. But again, if you're a convicted felon, you can't possess weapon. If you are under age of 21, you cannot possess a weapon. So I have mixed emotions about the situation because, the first question is, well, it's going to put guns in the hands of people who don't need them. Well, shit, we already have guns in the hands of people who don't need them. And we have the law in place right now for you to have a permit to carry a weapon. But the people who are looking to do damage and looking to commit crimes with weapons, they are not worried. They're not concerned. They're not concerned with the law, if you will. They're not concerned with the law. They're not worried about what the law says. Because if they were worried about the law says, they wouldn't be carrying anyway. So do I think it's going to have an impact on people who do carry? Yes and no. But at the same time, the people who have not been convicted that are out there looking to do damage and looking to commit crimes, it allows those people to carry weapons without having to worry about going to jail if they're caught with it, even if they have not committed a crime. But at the same time, it gives people opportunity who may not have the finances, if you will, or the resources to obtain a license. And when I say that, a license is not cheap. To get a gun license is not cheap. And I, a little bit of money is a lot of money to me. So once you pay for, because you have to pay for the class, and paying for that class is just depending on where you take the class. Usually it's going to run you anywhere from $75 to $150 to take a class. And then once you take that class and get your certificate stating that you completed the class, then you have to apply for your license. And applying for your license, that's additional fees. So you'll probably end up spending $300+ to get a gun license when it's all said and done. And every law-abiding citizen don't have those resources, may not have those resources to do so. So which is preventing law-abiding citizens who are looking to protect themselves or looking to have the right to protect themselves. That permit keeps them from doing that. The lack of resources to get that permit keeps them from doing that, if you will. So I have mixed emotions about it. I definitely have mixed emotions about it. If you have thoughts about it, drop your comments into the comment section, if you will. I appreciate your comments. But yeah, that's where we are in the state of Florida. That's where we are. July 1st is today. So that's where we are. So that brings us to the top of the hour. We have just went slightly over. We're at the top of the hour right now. And going to go ahead and close out on the show. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I will be back on Thursday night to, we'll be talking about these charges again. There's a lot of stories in the news that I need to talk about that I didn't get to. I'll be getting many of those in as possible. But we're here to talk about the issues that matter to you and your community, and hopefully something that I said has brought awareness to you or your situation or your community on the local, state, and federal level. So that's what I'm here for. Well, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Again, I appreciate my audience, appreciate you listening. This will be on my Facebook page. If you want to go back and listen to the show, it'll be live on my Facebook page. But until Thursday, you guys be safe. Y'all be blessed. And I am out of here.